Good morning, viewers. Today we are here at Fort Bend County Constable Precinct 4 office, and we are going to meet a good friend, a great leader, Constable Patrick Quincy, Precinct 4, Fort Bend County. In the exclusive conversation today, we will go beyond the badge into the mindset, the mission, the man behind the responsibility, a man whose action speaks louder than words. Stay tuned. See you all at the very top. So today we are sitting in Constable Patrick Quincy Precinct 4 patrol car. How are you doing, Constable?
Doing perfect. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for giving us time out of your precious schedule. I would like to thank Chief Moores, for being with us. So my question is, today we are sitting in your patrol car, where the real decisions are made by your deputies. What is the mindset of your deputies when they are on the road and they are about to pull over somebody? Because I know the mindset of the person who getting pulled over is scary,
In those situations, we understand how dangerous it can be. So number one priority is for the safety of not only the deputies themselves, but for the public, the person that we're pulling over. So number one priority is to make sure everybody gets to go home to their families after that interaction.
Definitely. So how does policing work in Fort Bend County as compared to Harris County? What is the what is the major difference you find out?
Outside of scale, obviously Harris County is a much bigger county than Fort Bend County, but I mean, crime is crime, and the laws that we enforce are state laws, so they don't vary from county to county. So we deal with a lot of the same issues. So we have the same issues that Harris County has in that aspect.
Right. And how many staff members you have? How many deputies you have in total?
Right now, we're growing quite a bit. When I started, we had about 41, 42 full-time deputies, and now we're right at 61. Plus, we have another 25 reserve deputies. Right. So we're growing very quickly as an agency.
Tell our viewers about how your law enforcement journey started. I know you served in Marine Corps.
Right.
From Marine Corps to Chief Investigator, from Chief Investigator to Constable, to leading such a Constable office with integrity.
No, it feels great. And like you mentioned, I started my career in service with the United States Marine Corps, which I'm extremely proud of that service. I wouldn't trade it for anything in the world. And it taught me a lot about values, about taking care of people. But after the Marine Corps, I wanted to find more ways I can serve. And that's what led me ultimately to law enforcement. I started my career actually in Fort Bend County at KDISD Police Department.
Okay.
So that's actually where my career started. From there, I went to Harris County and spent the bulk of my career at Harris County Constable's Office Precinct 5, which at the time was the largest constable agency in the nation. It was taken over by Precinct 4, got the title now, but they're still two of the largest constable agencies in the nation. So that's where I got my experience.
That's very nice.
So I was able to, anywhere you go, you want to take the good things you see from the agency and the not so great things, and make sure you don't duplicate those, and try to mold the agency into your own.
Right. I'm saying this because I actually have done it. I have talked to a few of your deputies about your leadership, how they feel about mostly in law enforcement. What happens, better than me, that the deputy you hire, they work for a little bit and then they get tired of the agency and they try to move on to different agencies.
Right.
But over times, I spoke to 5-6 deputies, and everybody talks so highly of you. Everybody says he's the best boss we ever have, and then we are in peace, we go to work happily, Why they think so positive about you?
Well, I have a few different philosophies. I feel like this job is tough enough with what we have to deal with the public, to where I don't want that same energy inside our building. We should be a family inside. We should take care of one another. We know what we have to deal with when we step outside those walls. So I don't want my deputies to have stress on the outside and on the inside, because at that point you have no recourse. You don't get a break from it. So and I treat people. I never forgot what it felt like to be a deputy.
Right.
That's one of my main things that I strive for. So I don't treat my deputies like I'm better than them because I wear a different insignia. Just because I have the stars and they don't, just because I wear a gold badge and they wear silver, that make me better. We're just playing different roles.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to treat them with disrespect. We're all going to respect each other.
Definitely.
And every time I swear in a new deputy, I make that very clear. I say the same thing every time. The way we treat each other matters to me. We're going to treat each other with respect, just like we're always going to treat the public with respect. But it starts in-house.
Right. That's beautiful. I want you to give me 3 golden words of your constable's office. Whenever you swear in the deputy, you tell them to follow 3 golden words.
Well, our core values are respect, integrity, service. And I came up with that on my own because it's not by chance. We will respect the community as well as each other, as I just mentioned. That's non-negotiable for me because it all starts with respect. I think some of the issues we have in law enforcement today is because of a lack of respect for the general public and for ourselves for the most part. Integrity is why I was elected to lead this agency, because the community had to trust that I would lead this agency with integrity, that we will be transparent in what we do and that we will always try to do the right thing.
Right.
I'm not perfect. I'm not going to always get it right, but you always can be assured that my heart's in the right place.
Right.
And service.
Service.
You know, one of the issues is we always talk about to protect and serve, but I think sometimes we forget to put the service back in law enforcement.
Definitely.
So that's one of my goals, is to make sure we're actually serving the public.
Yes, sir. I always hear this word by every law enforcement agency or constable or sheriff saying that public safety. What is the truly meaning of public safety?
Well, public safety to me means making sure the community as a whole is safe. And sometimes it's protecting them from themselves. You know, oftentimes we can't just go out there and be reactive to crime. Public safety means we're proactive in our approach to public service. So we want to make sure we're visible, make sure our community knows that we're out there to serve, and also that the criminal element knows that we're out there, because we're also a deterrent of crime. You know, there's no statistic to know how much crime we deter day to day just from our presence, just from being there. You know, we're not just going to hide in the corner. We're going to be visible. We want to be so visible that the criminal element comes into one of our communities and they say, well, we're not going to waste our time committing the crime here because the constables are always around. Most crimes are crimes of opportunity. You know, we just want to limit the opportunity we present.
Yes, Constable. That's nice. So, Constable, tell me, when your police officer, your deputy pulls over somebody, how should a resident or how should a citizen react?
Just react calmly. And a lot of times, some of the training that we do, some of the things we look out for, something as simple as, you know, keeping your hands visible.
Okay.
You know, we both can play a part on making sure that the community as a whole, when we pull them over, that they're at ease, but also that the deputy that's pulling them over can be confident that they're not in harm's way, so we can just get the interaction done with. So it's just the little things. We'll treat each other with respect. My deputies are trained to approach with respect. We're not out there to disrespect anybody, but we're also not a punching bag, so we don't want to get that in return. We give respect because we expect to get it in return.
The young generation who wants to be a Patrick Quincy, what is advice for them?
Well, I would advise them to be better than the Patrick Quincy. Sky is the limit.
Yeah.
Sky's the limit.
That's why
don't limit themselves.
That's why I did not say Constable Patrick Quincy. I said Patrick Quincy because Patrick Quincy, as a human, is a great guy. Then the title comes after that. You know. So, Constable, I really appreciate your time.
Oh, absolutely.
There are a lot of people in Fort Bend County and even out of Fort Bend County look up to you. You know, I want to be Patrick Quincy one day too.
You don't want those problems.
Thank you so much, Constable.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
No problem. Today we are honored to sit down with the Constable Patrick Quincy, Fort Bend County Precinct 4, who represent discipline, unity, and unwavering commitment to the public of Fort Bend County with the public safety. How are you doing, sir?
Doing great, thank you.
How are you?
Oh, never better.
Never better. Thank you for having us today in your office and giving us time out of your precious schedule. I know you're very busy. You always work like hard. I have seen your work over the years.
Yes,
so
sir.
I truly thank you for giving us opportunity to be here and interview you.
Of course, thank you for having this. Thank
No
you.
problem.
This is great.
Yes. So my first question is, who is Patrick Quincy? If we ask the person who is inside the uniform, we want to start from your early school life. We want to know where you started.
Well, I think what's important that I would like people to understand about me is that at my core, I genuinely care about people as a whole. And no, I never thought I would not let alone be constable, but law enforcement as a whole. Growing up, that's not the type of neighborhood I came from. I'm originally from Baton Rouge, Louisiana. That's where I grew up.
Right.
Spent most of my, actually all of my childhood, and I come from a community we didn't really think highly of law enforcement. So I'd never had any thoughts of being in law enforcement. And I was there up until I went to the Marine Corps after high school.
Nice.
And that shaped a lot of my future values and the things I hold dear to me. Now I owe a lot of that to the Marine Corps as well as my upbringing.
Okay. What is the difference between the training in Marine Corps and the training of PCOL license? What made a difference between, what bridged the gap between these two big agencies?
Well, the Marine Corps is more international.
Okay.
So it's not so much about training to be domestic community oriented. It's more about the broader picture and conflicts abroad. So the training is based on that. Versus law enforcement is more about how they interact with people here. You're not dealing with foreign entities. You're dealing with local citizens. So the approach is different, obviously, in that aspect of it.
After the Marine Corps, what have you served as? What position you served on before becoming constable?
Once I started my law enforcement career at KDISD Police Department, I just wanted to continue to find ways to serve, and that's kind of what drew me to law enforcement. After that, I went to Harris County. Once I finished in Harris County, then I became the chief investigator with the Fort Bend County Attorney's Office, and that's where I remained until I was elected constable.
Nice. Do you still remember when you started over there and the skill? I know County Attorney Bridget Lawson, a great person. You worked under her leadership.
For sure.
Are you implementing those leadership skills in current office, Fort Bend County Precinct 4 office?
Oh, absolutely. You take from everywhere you've gone along the way. I think that's the beauty of leadership, is not being so stuck in your way of doing things, that you're willing to be adaptable, that you're willing to take things that worked in other places that you've been, the leadership roles that you've held, learn from your mistakes, learn from the mistakes of others. All of that combined is what makes great leaders. And I use those tools every single day in this role.
Right. How do you believe technology helps law enforcement or any other agency or let's talk about Fort Bend County. How technology helps law enforcement in Fort Bend County? How does it helpful?
It's extremely helpful. It makes us more efficient to start with.
Okay.
I mean, the citizens who elect us deserve a certain level of service from us. We should be mindful of taxpayer money when we're doing things. Technology helps us save that money through efficiency, modernizing our processes. Before we were writing everything down, we're having boxes and boxes of paper, of storage and everything, and now most of our things are digital. It makes the communication between different agencies more efficient, between us and the district attorney's office. When we're filing cases, a lot of that evidence is done digitally now, instead of us having to download it onto a disk or a thumb drive and walk it over. Now they have instant access to it, which which simplifies the process. It makes it more efficient so people can get justice faster.
Are the tools, is it AI mostly?
It's not so much AI. Okay. It's just more digital storage solutions. Right. Because before everything was on disk. So you had to physically download it and actually walk it over. And now it's all in the system, and we share evidence systems between us and different agencies. So we when we use the same thing, they have instant access to it once we upload it.
I see. What is the difference between reserve cop and regular cop?
Well, as far as the state of Texas is concerned, they're both peace officers. So as long as they're working for our agency, they have the same powers that an active full-time deputy has. So they can make arrests just like anybody else. If we want them to do traffic enforcement, they can do that. The biggest difference is what they do when they're not on the clock. You know, full-time deputies, they're peace officers, whether they're working for you or not, so they can basically do anything they can do on duty, off duty, even as far as extra employment is concerned. Right. Whereas reserve deputies, they're basically acting peace officers while they're basically on duty for your agency. So there's restrictions on the things that they can do as peace officers when they're not actually working for your agency, because you hold their commission.
Sure, yeah. So once upon a time, I remember when you took the office, you told me that you will be dealing with your reserves and the actives same level of respect.
Exactly.
Why did you say that?
Because you're still carrying their commission, and any peace officer at this agency that I'm carrying a commission for is going to have the same level of respect for the public, and they're held to the same standards. So, and I remember we had the conversation before. My hiring practices for a reserve is going to be no different than a full-time deputy, because I expect the same thing out of them.
So why the deputies get write-ups? What is the most common mistake they do?
It's a wide range of things, from damaging equipment can do it, being careless, because like I said, we have to be good stewards to taxpayer money. So we can't be reckless with the equipment because, you know, taxpayer funds was used to purchase it. So that's a big one, just equipment violations. We have a very detailed policy, and like I said, I'm very clear on how we treat the public. So a quick way to get on my bad side is to mistreat a member of the public, because they don't deserve that. I tell everyone at this agency, we're the professionals in those interactions. We don't expect that from the public. We're the one wearing the badge. We're the one in authority on that scene. So I expect my deputies to be the professional and always conduct themselves that way.
There's a saying that, matter of fact, Spider-Man said it, powers come with responsibility.
100%.
Like, badge come with responsibility. So Constable, if someone get a chance to sit on your seat for one day, for example, what do you expect that person to do first? Like the first thing when the person steps enter in your office?
Entering my office into my position as constable.
Yes.
The first thing I would expect for them is to evaluate everything that's going on in this agency. Just kind of take stock of where we are, and then have a clear vision of where they want to take this office. Because that's what I had to do. Right. I had to come in and evaluate each employee and have a clear path on where I wanted to take this place.
So it's been how long you've been serving as a constable?
Almost a year and a half now, and it's going by fast.
Have you changed a few things?
We changed quite a bit. Like I said, when we started here, we had about 41, 42 full-time deputies, and we've grown about 50% so far. So we're at about 61 now.
Nice. I've never heard 60 or 65 deputies in Precinct 4 before.
Well, so no, it's the most.
The first time.
It's the most we've ever had by far.
Yeah, that's nice. So when we talk about integrity, please share with us any story that since you took over the office, something happened accidentally or unintentionally by your deputy to disrespect the resident on Fort Bend County, violating the civil rights.
Right.
Did you ever come across this kind of situation?
We actually did have an incident. Actually, a few months after I took over, we had a deputy that it was explained to me that he had violated the rights of some two young citizens on the traffic stop. And a lot of times what I've seen in in my past happens at some agencies is if nobody complains, then they don't really do anything about it. But that's not how we operate here. So I reviewed it myself. The video, I didn't like what I saw. His supervisors didn't like what they saw. We all agreed that this isn't how we conduct ourselves at this agency. So ultimately, he was fired.
He was fired.
And not just fired, but we actually referred it to the district attorney's office, and they filed charges on him.
Oh, okay.
Because it was that bad. It was that bad and a clear violation. Because everybody that's hired at this agency, I tell them all the same thing. How we treat the public matters. So I can't give that speech, and then when something happens, I don't follow through. So that was just an example of it won't be tolerated here. I don't want anybody to be surprised by how I will react if the public is ever mistreated at this agency. They should already know what's coming.
What is the meaning of civil right violation?
Because you have a right to liberty, and you have a right against unreasonable searches or seizures, including unnecessary arrests. So that's your basic civil right.
Okay.
So I can't, if I arrest you without cause or for no reason, that's a clear violation of your civil rights.
Oh, that tells me somehow that the resident has, if resident hasn't committed any crime or anything,
Right.
or resident is not wrongfully get pulled over by the cop,
Right.
resident has more power than the cop if they try to violate the
Well, they
civil
have
rights.
They have rights.
Right.
You have rights as
Yes.
as a resident here. And I can't just go walk around arresting people because I feel like it.
Okay.
I have a procedure that I have to follow as a law enforcement professional, just like every other one. So we can't just do what we want to do. We have to follow the parameters that are set forth. And you have a right to not be subjected to violations of your rights.
Yeah.
Whether that's First Amendment or otherwise.
Yeah, our team, we get sometime call from different parents asking help. Their kids get arrested because they are kids. They speed. They like to
Right.
speed, right? So
Right.
they get arrested, and they. What is one message for those young kids?
I would say just understand how dangerous it is. We're not out there, enforcing these traffic laws because we feel like it. We get to see what happens on the other side of it. I've done traffic enforcement for a good part of my career. So I worked a lot of those accidents that are resulted from the reckless driving that these kids are doing. When I have to explain to a family that their loved one isn't coming back home, that they died because either their loved one was driving reckless or somebody else was driving recklessly and injured or killed their loved one, that's what I don't want to have to keep doing. So that's why we enforce traffic laws the way we do. So it's not just speeding, having fun. It's speeding, potentially risking the lives of yourself or the other people on the road.
So, what do you think? All elected officials' office in Fort Bend County. What is the most backbone of the county?
And I'm not just saying this because of my experience there, but I would say the county attorney's office.
I knew it.
But people don't realize that every elected official in Fort Bend County leans on the county attorney's office. That's the person that's going to keep us on the straight and narrow, keep us out of trouble, and it's someone that's always there if we need help, if we need guidance. They're always there. See, I only have to worry about Precinct 4 Constable's office. The county attorney's office has to worry about every single office in Fort Bend County.
Yes.
So if I had to label one as the backbone of Fort Bend County, it's not even close. It would have to be the county attorney's office.
Okay, that's perfect. Yeah. Constable, you heard that phrase, action speaks louder than words. And you are the true example of that. I want to say from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much, whatever you do for all the communities. I know you have given deputies to the mosque whenever we needed help. You're always there in the community. You're taking care of the whole community. And I really appreciate that from the community, from my team. And thank you so much for your precious time today.
Thank you so much. Thank you for doing this.
Yeah.
Thank you.
See you all at very top. Thank you for watching Official at the Table with Rana. We will come back with another episode with another great elected official. Thank you all. Stay tuned.